Hello financial investors and welcome to the channel. Today's video we're going to go ahead and do our stock market weekly recap for the 20th through the 24th of July 2020. In this video we're going to go ahead and cover last week's changes up on the screen now. Then we're going to go ahead and cover the four main indexes changes for this week. Take a look at the entire S&P 500 performance, what stocks were up, what stocks were down, what sectors were weak, what sectors were strong. Then we're going to go ahead and take a look at the oil, dollar, silver, gold, bonds, mortgage rates, and wrap it up taking a look at some mortgage rates. Gold and silver surprised me this week, up massive in silver. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that as well. And that is pretty much it. Just a weekly recap, kind of keep track of what is going on in the market. I also posted a few little articles today here on Saturday, early morning, about this week's news as far as numbers, with job numbers being, we'll go into it here in this video. But without further ado, if you are brand new to my channel, have not yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button down below. If you do enjoy this video, find it helpful, entertaining, make that like button blue. And of course, if you have any comments or questions, would like to say hello, drop them down below in the comment section. Just type out, how you're doing, how you're feeling about this market, and let's go ahead and get into the video. So this past week, taking a look at last week, the FAANG stocks pretty much did nothing. We saw Facebook down 1.24, Amazon down 7.44, Facebook, what was the other one? Apple was basically flat that past week. Netflix down 10% on earnings. Nvidia down 2.65, Microsoft down 5.05, and Google down 1.44%. So the FAANG stocks that have been carrying this market to get to almost, flat for year to date are essentially down this past week and down this week, coming up. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that. But last week it was healthcare kind of propping up the market. You can see Johnson & Johnson up nearly 5%, Pfizer 7.15, Merck up 4.09, Eli Lilly up 1.59, Berkshire over in financials up 4.3%. So we had a lot of strength over in the credit card. We had some insurance, drug and manufacturers, just healthcare overall. Very bright green. Industrial is doing really well. Utilities, basic materials, consumer defense, all very positive. It was essentially just tech and the FAANG stocks that were kind of holding the market back. So while there was positiveness out there in the market, S&P up 1.25, Dow Jones up 2.29, the NASDAQ was negative, so we saw that tech weakness down 1.08. The Russell 2000 has done actually really well last week, and I believe it lost the least this week. We'll take a look at that. Silver up 3.33%, gold, bonds also positive. And there's a big change between last week's 10-year bond rate and this week's 10-year bond rate. It's a pretty massive drop, and I think that's going to be a bit of a warning sign for this upcoming month. Say into August, I believe we're going to have a bit more red out there than we have seen these past few weeks. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the markets now. The S&P 500 this week down essentially flat, down 0.28%. Everything was going well Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Then there was some job numbers that came out. So I did post here on a little bit ago. Let's go ahead and see here. Now, I did post that 32 million people are still receiving unemployment, but there was one other article here. So just this past week on Thursday, it was reported that unemployment claims rose for the very first time after 15 weeks of steady decline. So for the past several months, like 2.5 months, there has been nothing but unemployment claims declining, meaning that more individuals were going out, getting jobs, going back to work. But this past week, we're showing that unemployment claims are actually starting to climb back higher. And when that news broke out here in the morning of Thursday, the markets took that as very negative, saying that we could go back into a bit of a shutdown, or individuals not wanting to go back to work, or just businesses not wanting to hire, lay off individuals just because it's slow. It's really hard. If you're a business and you're struggling to make ends meet, and you can't really pay the individual to kind of come back to work, there's a whole bunch of attributes that go into that whole system. And right now, it's not looking too positive. So on Thursday down 1.23%, Friday down 0.62, basically losing all of this early week's movement to the upside. So I do believe we're going to see some more red in the following weeks. This is just a tiny smidge change here on Friday. So we'll see how it opens up on Monday, but I do actually believe, if I'm looking forward, I do see more negative in the future in this upcoming week versus positiveness. Dow Jones also down 0.76%. We can also see here Thursday, Friday, basically the same news. Job numbers affected the market. NASDAQ here down whopping 1.33%. So it definitely beat out the other indexes, and this is where we see the tech stocks kind of failing out. We saw the FANG stocks take a big beating that affected the NASDAQ here at negative 1.33, and the Russell 2000. I thought they did the best, but it looks like S&P actually did the best, followed right behind by the Russell 2000, down 0.39%. So overall, not too bad. They're essentially flat there on Thursday. Even with job numbers, we can see that there was a bit of a spike, and then job numbers came out, reports of unemployment rising, and the market kind of fell there. Now, jumping into the S&P 500 performance, again, last week we took a look at the FANG stocks. Taking a look once again at the FANG stocks, we have Facebook down 4.68% right here. Apple, while it was positive last week, it took a beating this week, down 3.85%. I saw some investors, the independent investor Ryan over at the Independent Investor channel, he was discussing on his Friday live stream that he did sell on, I believe, Wednesday going into earnings or just news reports, and he actually took a bit of profits in Apple, so pat him on the back. He did really well there. Amazon, last week it was down pretty good. This week it is up 1.58%, but it looks like it's almost, it's one of the few FANG stocks that was actually positive this week. Now we move into Netflix, down 2.54. So last week it was down over 10%. This week it's down 2.54%. Nvidia down negative 0.07. Microsoft down 0.78%, and Google down 0.57%. So again, those FANG stocks that were initially holding the market and pushing it higher, while the rest of the market was kind of in the red, now they're starting to cool off. If the market begins to kind of cool off as a whole, this is where I believe we will see the market possibly take a correction of anywhere from 5, 10, 15%, depending on just how investors handle it. If they all go out there and they all sell out of their investments, trying to time it, that's going to hurt the market even higher. We also saw Intel take a deep cut this week, nearly 16% down to the downside after earnings. Healthcare, after they were really positive last week, they gave back some of their earnings besides Pfizer, which knocked it out. Plus, they had an article came out how they are doing some vaccine trials. They're going to be one of the few companies, I believe there were two of them out there, Pfizer and another company. So they were very positive this past week. And also, financial is actually doing really well. Wells Fargo up 5.25%. Bank of America up 4.87%. JP Morgan flat this week, but did really well last week during the sort of, it was good overall for JP Morgan, and I believe some of the other financials didn't do so good. Some other companies that stand out right off the bat are Lockheed Martin up 4.81%, McDonald's up 3.78%, Starbucks, Home Depot, Coca-Cola, Philip Morris, interesting there, with Altria up 0.74, and we see the NextEra Energy also 1.77. So looks like a few really good not financials, utilities, pretty positive this past week. So that is our look at the S&P 500. So overall, just kind of looking at positiveness, we can see consumer defense looks pretty positive overall. Utilities look pretty positive. And financials, insurance style, also and banks look very positive as well. So making sure you stay with a diversified portfolio, either by investing in an ETF, an exchange traded fund that tracks the entire market, or just make sure that you're investing in individual companies within different sectors, and you should be pretty well off. Now this week, oil up 1.24%, so it's nearing back that $30 point. But remember, it did have that reversal where it went 8 for 1, so or 1 for 8. For every 8 shares, you had 1. So there we go. The dollar continues to get weaker and weaker week after week. So here we started the week here with a $95, 95.95, and this thing dragged down over a dollar point here. It's at 94 35 now. So the Fed pumping more cash out there, causing the dollar index to lower and lower. President Trump and the Fed all want that dollar to be weak. It helps out the big bucks, but does not help out the individuals out there looking to keep themselves alive day to day. You know, it's making items a bit more expensive there. Here's where we're talking about silver. Silver completely blew up this week. I think this is a crazy move to the upside. 5-day change here in silver. You know, remember that $17 resistance point? They blew past that and continued soaring higher day after day, chunks at a time. Here they closed now at 21.29. That's their highest close, and their high for the 52-week is at 21.51. So that just looks like it happened possibly today near the end of close. So pretty crazy there with silver. Year to date, it is up a massive 27.64%. Who would have thought there with silver? Gold also really positive, up 5.33%. Bonds essentially flat. You know, that's what bonds do. Down, up positive 0.35%. Year to date, up 6.32%. Now, this is where I'm talking about that 10-year yield. I see the 10-year yield gets mentioned quite a bit when it comes to just how stable the market is. We could also probably look at the VIX. So if I were to pull up the VIX, I'd like to take a look at the VIX and just kind of take a look at the volatility. It's actually not that bad. It's only down 0.92% on the day. It looks like on the week it's essentially, it looks like positive. So not too bad there on the VIX. I just took a look at it quickly. Now the 10-year here is at 0.59%. This past week, I believe they're at 0.64. 0.63. So a bit of a dip there with that 10-year rate. So 0.59. We'll see how this one kind of fluctuate. I don't believe we've seen it down in the 0.59s for quite a while. So this could be a little bit of a warning sign there for the 10-year. And mortgage rates did rise by 2 basis points to 3.33% from 3.31%. So 0.02 basis points to the upside. So that is essentially all of the markets this week. Let's see what sort of news was posted over on Facebook. So we did post our sort of weekly recap for this past week. I haven't posted anything for this week. I'm going to go ahead and be typing that out and posting that. So here we just did the breakdown. This is our last week breakdown where the FANG stocks took a break, and it happened again this week. Not as bad. We can see Amazon down 7.44, Microsoft down 5.05. So even though the FANG stocks were weak last week, we had the rest of the market picking it up this week. Didn't happen so, you know, as positive. We had quite a few sectors being really strong, but it just wasn't enough to keep the market higher. So essentially the markets are flat. Now here I talked about the NASDAQ. This is ticker symbol QQQ. You know, when you're buying into the NASDAQ, you're essentially buying into 25% of the FANG stocks. You're buying Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Google. You can see these huge globs here. They take up a giant portion of the NASDAQ composite. Here's Apple, essentially the same size of Microsoft and Amazon, Alphabet, Google, slowly right behind it, followed by Facebook. We see Tesla, T-Mobile, PepsiCo, Intel, Netflix, Adobe, Nvidia. So FANG stocks take up a big portion of the QQQ NASDAQ index. And again, if you guys are interested in 3 free stocks, Robinhood is giving you a free stock. If you haven't used the platform, go down below in the description down below, sign up for Robinhood. You will get 1 free stock. If you want 2 additional stocks with that one for a total of 3, you can sign up for a Webull. You sign up for a Webull, on making the account, you're going to get 1 free stock. When you deposit $100, you will get another free stock. I believe right now there's a promo that, you know, I got a notification that if I deposit an additional $100 onto the platform, I'll get 2 free stocks. So that's basically, you know, quite a bit of free stocks out there. And these free stocks can be worth, if you get a nice one on Robinhood, 2 nice ones on Webull, you're looking at possibly $1,500 worth of free stocks. So that could be a really good buy or a really good deal right there. So Pfizer. So here is where we're kind of talking about Pfizer doing really well this week. I wasn't sure if I had covered it or not. I was trying to post some fun little articles this week. So U.S. cuts a deal, a $1.95 billion deal with Pfizer for 100 million doses of, oh man, I said the word. Now my video is going to get flagged. I'm going to go ahead and cut that out. So I said the word in the title, and I'm going to go ahead and just snip that out of my video when I'm editing this video. So if you see it's like a little bit of a jump there, that's just me slipping up and reading the title. So I did roll over my wife's accounts. She had accounts over at Fidelity. She had a 401 or a 403B, a couple other 40 style accounts because she worked at a non-profitable organization, so they allowed the 403 plan. I rolled these plans over into an IRA and Roth IRA. So here I purchased 1985. Really great year out there. You know, it's the year I was born. So 1985 worth of VU. Here in that screenshot, I purchased another $5,824 of VU in that one. So that's another 19 shares there. Total, we now own 26 shares of VU in this account. So I believe I bought it on the 23rd. So 23rd was Thursday, so Thursday was a bit of a negative day. So I took the opportunity, bought in when it was red at, I believe I put a limit buy there around 298, 299. So right around that price. You know, it's just a long-term buy and hold with VU. Can't go wrong with it. It had been invested 100% in her other account, so I just needed to be fully invested in this account. So that is that. This week, again, we talked about job numbers, so this is the first week over the past 15 weeks where we've seen an unemployment claim rise. So there's an article there on that one if you guys are interested in checking that out. Here, there is the $600 weekly federal aid payment that goes to the unemployed. It's set to expire here on the end of the 31st of July, just this upcoming Friday. So once Friday hits, individuals out there who are claiming unemployment will not be able to get that $600 weekly federal aid payment. I would love to make an extra $600 a week on top of my normal unemployment. You know, I don't get unemployment. I work from home the entire time. You know, it's nice to have worked and not got laid off. You know, I don't have any issues at work. And that is all the information I posted this past week. So that is going to be it for this week's video. If you guys did enjoy this video, again, thank you for tuning into this video. Let me know down in the comment section below what your planning and thoughts are on this current market. I'd really like to hear from you guys, so drop it down below, say anything at all. And of course, give this video a thumbs up. If you reach the end, let me know. And subscribe to the channel. And that is it. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys checking in, staying until the end. And I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.